Welcome back to Von Blues Boxing. What's going on with everybody, man? So I just wanted to drop this video and give out the PBC fall and summer schedule. It's looking pretty nice, man. So I just wanted to just go over the fights and the dates and stuff like that, and y'all be out to look for these fights. Majority of them are on Showtime, so if you don't have Showtime, fellas, get the app. If you can, whatever way you got to watch it, hey, it is what it is. But they do, it's on majority of these fights are on Showtime. Wish someone was on Fox free for people, you know what I'm saying? But that's a different thing. So March 26th, this weekend, we got Tim Tszyu, the son of Costa Tszyu, fighting Terrell Gasha. Terrell Gasha is a good 154. He's one of those dudes who's just a fight away from getting up into title contention. And here's his opportunity. I think it's a WBO title eliminator. Also on that card, we got Michelle Rivera, Michelle Ali Rivera. He's a pretty good lightweight 135 prospect. He's fighting Joseph Adorno, one of the Adorno brothers. We also got Elvis Rodriguez, 135, fighting at 135 pounds. He's fighting Juan Jose Velasco. And that's on this weekend, actually, March 26th. Then April 9th, we got Sebastian Fundora versus Erickson Lubin at 154 pounds. That's a nice fight. You got the Sebastian Fundora, 6'6", 154 pounder, and we also got Erickson Lubin, still one of the better young fighters, still one of the better 154 pounders. He's earned it the hard way since that loss to Jermell Charlo. He just kept trucking, and he's in position. Then we got another fight. The co-main event, we got Tony Harrison versus Sergio Garcia. Sergio Garcia is 33-1. He had a really close fight against Sebastian Fundora. Some people thought he beat Sebastian Fundora, so he'll be taking on Tony Harrison. We know Tony Harrison is no slouch, and Tony Harrison always puts up a good fight. So that's on April 9th. Then April 16th, we got the return of Earl the Truth Spence versus Eugenius Ugas in a 147-pound unification belt battle. Eugenius Ugas is the WBA 147-pound champion. He beat Manny Pacquiao. That was his last fight. And we got the return of Earl Spence, the WBC and long-reigning IBF champion. Then we got another good one in the on that card too. A couple of good fights is going to be on that card. We got Razabad Butiev versus Ilimantis Stanonius for the WBA title eliminator. Butiev is coming off a nice win of Jamal James. Stopped him, and he looked impressive in that win. Butiev is one of them little dark horses at 147 pounds. Y'all keep your eyes on Butiev. He'll be fighting in the title eliminator, WBA title. And then we also got the return of hard-hitting Brandon Lee. He will be taking on Zachary Ochoa. So that's another good one. And we know Brandon Lee, man, that young man can punch. He hits hard and he likes to fight. He'll be on that card too. Then on May 14th, we have the rematch that we've been waiting for. Jermell Charlo, unified 3-belt 154-pound champion, taking on Brian Castano, current WBO champion. Charlo owns the WBA, IBF, and the WBC titles, and this is the second fight we will have on May 14th. And then also in the co-main event, we got one of the hottest title contenders in the sport of boxing, Jerron Boots Ennis, taking on Custio Clayton. Custio Clayton is no slouch. He's a pretty good fighter. He fought Sergey Lipinets, and I thought he beat Sergey Lipinets, but he will be getting a big opportunity against Jerron Boots Ennis. So that's another good one we got right there. And then on May 21st, we got the return of David Benavidez versus David Lemieux. This is a WBC interim super middleweight belt is on the line. We know about David Lemieux, hard punching 160-pounder. He's been, campaigning at 168, lost to Triple G, lost to Billy Joe Saunders at 160. But, Lemieux power is the last thing to go away. So he'll be taking on David Benavidez. Interesting fight to me. Very interesting fight. Then we got Yovis Gomez, pretty hot prospect, 5-0 with 5 KOs. He'll be taking on Jorge Cota. We know about Jorge Cota. Jorge Cota's been in the 154-pound division. He's fought the best guys in there. Always kind of like a test. A test for the 154-pounders coming up. So he'll be taking on Jorge Cota. Then on May 28th, we got Javonte Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero will be on that card. I think it's for part of the WBA title. The fight was supposed to happen, but Romero had to drop out because of allegations, and he took on Isaac Cruz, which was I believe it was a tougher fight for Tank Davis, and So he'll be taking on Rolly Romero. I think Isaac Cruz will be fighting Yuriokis Gamboa. Yeah, so Isaac Cruz will be fighting him. And then on June 4th, we have the return of Stephen Coolboy Fulton, currently WBC and WBO 122-pound champion. He'll be facing on against Daniel Roman. Daniel Roman was the former unified champion, lost a very close fight to Mirajan Akhmadelev. I probably said the man's name last one, but lost a very close fight to him. They'll be fighting on there. Daniel Roman lost a close fight to him. So this is a good matchup. I wanted to see Brandon Figueroa and Fulton too, but I think Brandon Figueroa going up to 126 pounds. So that's going to be at the, I think, what's the name of that place? The Armory in Minnesota, man. They always put on good fights at the Armory. And a lot of fans are like out there in Minneapolis, man, they come out and show out for boxing. Shout out to Minneapolis, city of Minneapolis, holding it down out there. Then we got the return of one of the hottest prospects at 168 pounds, David Morrell. He'll be fighting Calvin Henderson. That'll be at 168 pounds. Pretty damn good fight. Then June 18th, we got the return of Jamal Charlo. He'll be fighting on that Juneteenth weekend. He'll be fighting Selecki. Jamal was supposed to fight Jaime Mogia, but it was issues with DAZN and Showtime, because just goes to show you, it's not always the boxers, fellas. So like I be saying, it be these networks and these promoters, they be fighting over peanuts. So Jamal Charlo will be stuck fighting Selecki, and Selecki hasn't fought in 2 years, so it's been a while. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I want Maul to go up to 160. I just think it's bigger fish at 168 for Jamal, because the 160 pounds is starting to, you know, division is it's starting to change a lot. You know, Boo Boo's going up to 168. He's fighting in a title eliminator against Zach Parter. Triple G might get the fight with Canelo on Mexican Independence Day weekend. He might get that fight. So, you know, the division's gonna be kind of clear, you know, rare. And depending on, and you know, Marat's has always flirted with retirement, you know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens. And then July 19th, a fight I'm really excited and I think is being slept on: Ray Vargas versus Mark Magsayo. Mark Magsayo is coming off a huge win, man. Beat Gary Russell Jr. Gary Russell Jr. had been one of the longest reigning champions, and went in there and got the job done, got the win. And Ray Vargas is a tall 126 pounder. He's like 5'10", 5'11", or 6 feet. He looks longer than that, but he is a tall, long guy, and that's another tough fight for Mark Magsayo. But it just goes to show you Mark about that action. Mark is really trying to put his foot in there, because Ray Vargas was supposed to fight Gary Russell at first, but then something happened. So that's July 19th. And yeah, man, PBC, gotta give it to him, man. It's got some nice fights on the card. Some of the fights, yeah, I mean, it leaves something to desire, like Tank and Rolly, you know, Maul and Jamal Charlo and Selecki. You know, there's some fights where we kind of like, but at the end of the day, PBC is putting together, I probably missed some fights, but PBC is putting together some good fights on the card. So it should be some good fights to watch, man. I mean, I'm pretty excited about it. So yeah, they're all going to probably be on Showtime. Maybe a Fox card might switch over to Fox, but it looked like Showtime is starting to take the reins for putting on the PBC fights. And so yeah, all on Showtime, man. We got one this weekend. We got a nice little boxing weekend this weekend. We got some good fights coming up this weekend. So yeah, man, y'all check that out. Don't miss them fights, man. If you love the sport of boxing, you love the sport of boxing, man. So yeah, y'all be good, y'all be safe. Von Blues Boxing, I'm out.